Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. In this video, we are going to learn how we can create this cartoony kind of title animation in After Effects. In order to start our animation, first we'll have to create a new composition. So we'll select a composition of 1920 into 1080 and you can give any kind of duration you want. Here I'm just using a 20-30 frames duration, and after that we'll just have to type in the title we want. Here for example I'm just typing title, and you have to select a desired font as well as font size and font style and things like that. Here I'm just going with a basic symbol cartoony kind of title effect. Once that is done, we have to separate each of these letters into their own separate layer. Then only we'll be able to animate them properly. And after that you can just either you can just duplicate and cut out each letter from the original layer, or you can just type in one letter and you can finalize the design for that. And after that you can just change each of these letters and you can manually just align them, roughly align them. After that you can use the align panel in order to align them properly. So here I just separated all of them into their own layers, and I'm just like eyeing it all the proper distance and everything. After that you can just use the align panel in order to distribute them equally in the spacing. You can distribute them equally. Once that is done, then we can just move on to the next part of our animation process. The next part is we'll just have to select all the layers, and we'll just add a symbol scale animation, and before that we'll just move the pivot point to base to the base of each letter, and we'll just have a simple scale animation from 0 to 100. After that we can see that it's simply animating from 0 to 100 from their base. So once that is done, the next thing is we have to sequence each of these layers. In order to sequence and adding ease and all, I'm using motion tools plugin here, and I believe it's completely free. You can just get it from their website. And after sequencing each of these layers, you can see the animation is already have a bit of life, and you can just adjust this sequencing based on your timing and things like that. And I'm just adding a bit of ease for the animation also, so it will have more life to the animation. And once you finalize all the timing and the sequencing timing and easing for your layers, then you can just move on to the next part of our animation. The next thing is we'll add a simple rotation, and we'll add a wiggle expression on each of these rotation values for the letters. So we'll type in wiggle, and you can just give any random value. Here I'm just giving a value of 3 and 3. That means it'll have a 3 times it will be wiggling every second, so that will be the wiggling option. And after that you can just copy paste this expression, and you can just add it to the rotation value of each of these letters. And you can just if you want a random kind of animation, you can just roughly change the values in each of these rotation value expressions in the rotation value, and you will get a slightly random effect. Here I'm not going to add a value change in this wiggle, because it's just basic simple movement we are actually seeing, and we actually don't want any more randomness than that. So after that you can just see that after simply scaling up and animating each of these letters, they are actually simply shaking in their simply wiggling from their base. So that alone gives us a lot of animation. And after that we'll just pre-comp everything, and then we'll add a simple solid background for our uh, title animation. So before adding a background, here I am going to add a texture for the letters. So here I have a texture of a cookie, and after that I'll just use the track matte option, and I'll just adjust the track matte everything, so that each of these letters are actually textured properly. So once everything is actually textured properly, then you can just scale in and adjust the texture image you are using. Here I am just using a simple cookie texture like I told you earlier, and as you can see it's actually not covering the entire letter. So what we can do is we will add a repeat tile option for the texture, so that we can actually extend the texture to left, right, up and down, so it will cover the entire letter. So I'll just add a CC repeat tile here, and I'll just extend it to the right side as well as the left side, so that the texture will be visible in all of the letters, and that way we have a complete texture title. And after that, if you simply check again, now we have a title animation along with the textured letters. Okay, so once the texturing everything is completed, then we can just move on to the next part of our animation. So the next thing is we'll just add a simple stroke effect for our texture layer. So each of these letters will have a simple stroke around them, and you can give any kind of thickness you want. Here I'm just increasing a little bit of, adding a bit of thickness for the layers, and here I'm giving a value of 100 and 150, something like that. It's actually depend on your requirement, and I'm just changing that stroke color to white color. So we have a letter along with the texture and a stroke, and then we'll add a simple drop shadow as well, so that each of our letters will have more depth, and it will have a more like a 3D kind of look to our letters. And since we have a really thick stroke, the shadow will be visible, not like in some part of our letter, and that will give us a really nice and interesting look to our title, and that will make it more like a cartoonic look. And these are all experimental things. You can actually go through these options, and you can add in extras, layer styles, and make each of your title animations and texturing everything more interesting. So you don't have to follow exactly like I'm showing here. You can just follow along with your own ideas and create something interesting. And once you finalized your texturing as well as stroke and shadow, then we'll be able to move on to the next part of our animation, and we'll be able to create a really interesting animation. As you can see, the animation is actually looking much more interesting compared to its original animation, along with the stroke and texture and the wiggle, everything. It looks really good. And the thing is, we are going to add on more effect onto it. And the next thing is we are going to add a simple solid background for our title. So we can just select any colors you want. Here I'm just going with more like a purple kind of, dark purple kind of color, and I'm just naming it as BG. Once that is done, we'll just move it to behind our title layer, so it will be added as a background. And after that, we'll just add a simple noise effect onto that layer, so we'll have a little bit of texture to our layer as well, so that will give us more depth and interesting look to our title. And once you added that texture to our BG, then we'll select everything, and we'll just make a pre-comp, and we'll move all the attributes to the new composition. Once that is done, we'll go back into our main comp, and after that we'll just crop out all the empty areas. We don't need that. We want our composition to be tight, a tight fit. So we'll just crop out, trim out all the empty areas for our composition, and we will leave our main composition in 1080, and the title composition which we actually pre-commed right now, we'll just crop it down, so only our title will be visible inside that composition. After that, we can just align everything properly to the center of our composition, and once that is done, we can just go back into our main composition. Here you'll be able to see the composition is actually like cropped down, and that the size of the composition will be a little bit less. After that, we'll add a layer style, and this time also we'll add a stroke effect to our composition, and we'll add a bit of a bigger composition along with the a bit of a bigger stroke along with the white color accent for this stroke as well. And finally, adding designs and things like that, it's actually completely our own choices. You can just add any kind of designs to make everything interesting. Here I'm just checking with the original, and replicating the same design, and checking how it is, how it's actually looking, and based on that, we'll just recreate everything. And after that, we'll go back to our like title animation, and here the next thing is we are going to need to animate that slicing kind of animation here. So we'll add a split effect onto that, and right now we can see when we adjust the split 1 and split 2 values, it's already splitting up. And so we'll just give a value of 50 for split 1 and split 2, and after that you can just animate the points A and points B. And right now, in the beginning, we'll just move point 1 and point A and point B outside the composition. So in the beginning, the title will be visible, and as it move forward, the title will be splitting up, and the animation is actually starting splitting up, and the next title in a different color will be visible. So the next thing is we have to add animation like keyframes for point A and point B, and we'll start animating point A passing through the title, and point B we'll adjust according to how the animation is looking. As it start animating, we don't want any of it to be looking any of this title to be visible. So we'll just adjust the timing of that point A and point B, and we'll add a bit of easing using like motion tools. And after that, you can just adjust the timing of the keyframes and easing, and distance between the keyframes and things like that. Like I said, these are all how we want the animation to be. These things you don't have to follow exactly like I'm doing. And after that, we'll just make a duplicate of that our main comp, and we'll just move that splitting a little bit back. So what we'll do is, the next we'll actually move that layer a little bit back, so the after splitting, the second animation will be visible. It will be starting, and this time for the second composition, we'll just change the color, and if you want, you can add a completely different set of effects to that, and to make it much more interesting. Here I'm just adding a simple hue and saturation, and changing the overall color of the composition, and I'm just sequencing it. So when the first set of animation is actually splitting up, the second set of animation will be visible, and after that, you can just make one more duplicate of that composition, and for the third and final composition, you can just remove the split option, and that will be the final composition. And after the initial first two splits, the final title will be animating and it will be stopping. So that will give us enough time to read the title, and it will actually engage the viewer as well. So like I said, you can just add on extra effect to each of these compositions, and you will be able to add a really interesting look to your title. So already you can see it's actually looking really interesting. The first title is actually splitting, and after that a different set of color title will be visible, and after that the final title will be visible, and it will not be splitting, it will be stopping there. After the title animation, it will be stopping. So here I'm just cropping out a bit of empty areas as well on the left and right side of our title, so that title will be looking much more compact, and it will have much more, final impact on the viewer as well. So uh, so after selecting all the empty areas, you can just crop it out, and now you can see it's actually looking much more compact, and it will be really interesting. And after that you can just select all of our three compositions, and you can pre-comb the main all three into a one single composition, so that will be much easier for you to handle the animation. And you can add a rough and edges to the final composition, so the edges of our rectangled area will be a little bit of scratchiness and things like that will be there, and that will give a bit more interesting, outlook to our animation, and it will be looking a bit more interesting. So like I said in the beginning, it's all, these are all optional. Based on how you want the animation, you can just approach it how you want. So I hope you guys all like this video, and you will all experiment with these kind of effects, and will be able to create some interesting animations. And if you want to see such animations and tutorials, please do subscribe and turn on the notification, and like and share the video as well. Thank you for watching.